Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Norm Yip, and this may be the only video that I do that is related to my interest in gadgets and audio. But I was not always an audio fan. Actually, for the past maybe 10 years, I have not really been interested in audio because I was concentrating on other aspects of my life, revolving around art and photography. But when I was young, I believe in my teenage years, my brothers and I, we would go to audio shops and listen to high-end audio, sometimes just for the fun of it, without necessarily making a purchase. But usually one of my brothers would be interested in buying something, and so we would go to the audio store and bring along our CDs or vinyl and play the music on in the shops. And we would listen, make very valued critical judgments on the music. So that lasted probably for most of my years in Canada, but when I moved to Hong Kong, I kind of put that aside, but I did purchase a modest, very modest system for myself to listen to. And for the most part, what you see behind me is my audio system. What I have here is a Revolver called the Berreta, small bookshelf speakers. Not very costly. I don't remember the year I purchased it, but it has remained with me for quite a long time. I do have another set of speakers, but I won't be talking about those set of speakers. I'll be just mentioning this one because this is my go-to / reference system. I hooked that up to, back in the back there's a Cambridge Audio amplifier. And I bought this secondhand from someone who was selling it along with the CD player. The CD player has now died, and it's gone to the junkyard. But the amplifier remains. And what is it? I don't even know. Yes, I do have it on paper here. It's an Azur 540A. Probably not a very high-powered, super strong amp, but it sufficed, and it sounds really good to me. And then the thing is that I've had this system going for a long time, not really upgrading to anything. My choice of music to drive the system was really through a laptop. The laptop is actually sitting behind there, but basically I was just using audio stream, and so it was a mindless thing. I had my computer hooked up to it, but now I'm in a slightly larger space. I've separated the speaker system from my desktop. So in doing so, I started to do a little bit of investigation, looking back into the audio world because of the space that I'm in right now, and then I have a little bit more room to work with. I thought I want to have a better system in my studio, because I realized that the system that I had before, which was actually not these speakers, I didn't even have these speakers pulled out. These were actually in another section. It's a long story, but basically I had some older, I don't know what you call those speakers are, but they're basically the ones that you hook up to a desktop, and those things died. I think they were outtake lancing. I shouldn't say that, but they were, and so they have been relegated to the junkyard as well. So to make a long story short, I started looking into audio, and my brother happened to tell me that, well, he's on this thing called Tidal. I thought, no, what is Tidal? I know what Spotify is, but I don't know what Tidal is. So there you go. I started to, so he gave me a subscription to Tidal off of his membership, which is great. And then I started to investigate, well, there's this thing called DAC. I mean, I remember hearing about DACs, digital to audio converters, a long time ago, but never really put any thought into it. And I thought, well, let's see what happens if I hook up a DAC to bridge between the computer, which is going to stream Tidal, and the amp. And I think I spent 2 months scouring the internet. I mean, I was actually in this obsessed state of trying to find the perfect DAC and exploring so many different websites and watching so many YouTube videos to try to assess what am I going to get. And for not a lot of money, I wanted to be economical about it, and I just want to see, is this for real? And I knew what I was getting up from the title, and it sounded okay. And then my system itself, it sounded okay as well. But I didn't actually have a really good source until the title. That was like the best that I had, because my CD player had died, right? So that was, I think that was 4 years ago. So my CD collection has not really progressed, and maybe eventually I will move into that. So anyway, so the DAC of choice that I thought, well, let's give it a shot. It's got some really good reviews, amongst so many other reviews as well. I thought, well, there's a thing called S.M.S.L Sanskrit anniversary, 10th anniversary V2/ or Mark II. It's a mouthful, and you know, I read about topping, etc. But I decided that I'm going to get the S.M.S.L version, and it seemed like this was the one to get for me, based on, I think it was hundreds of videos, watching through different people's reviews on it, and other reviews as well. And I located a supplier here in Hong Kong that had it here locally, rather than me ordering it through Amazon, in which case it would go through basically it's made in China, Shenzhen, I think, the company, S.M.S.L. It would go to, you know, that unit would have been shipped to the US and then subsequently coming back. So I thought, well, I would rather skip that whole stage and try to shop locally in Hong Kong. And I found a place that sold it. And 2 days ago, or three or 4 days ago, I ordered it, and not really know. I was having high expectations, but also having, well, don't raise the expectations so high that if I get it, I'm going to be upset about it, and it's going to feel like it's like wasted money. But I knew that there would be some discernible difference between what I was streaming through, using the DAC, using the internal DAC on the computer, and what a DAC could do. I mean, you know, I knew that something would be different, and I hooked it up. It came in yesterday morning via GoGo van. They brought it here, and I signed off for it, and I was very excited. And I hooked it up later on at night, and I was actually sitting here. I was actually sitting right here in front of the machine, and you know, hooking it up and everything. And then I thought, well, turn it on, and seriously, I looked back in wonderment of, wow, that is really, it's really good. It surprised me at what I was listening to through the system that I have. Oh, I forgot. I do have a subwoofer, and I hooked up the subwoofer because, and that subwoofer is a KEF. I think it's PSA 1100, something like that. It's a big black box, and it's been sitting here for, oh gosh, I think maybe more than 10 years. I mean, these Berretas are more than 10 years old. I bought them ages ago. I mean, I moved to Hong Kong. I moved here in 1984. So these have been around with me for a long time. And so eventually I bought a subwoofer. So I finally got the subwoofers hooked up. And I thought, my immediate thought was, where was that sound coming from? Because I'm not used to hearing clarity like that coming out from my system. And all because of a DAC. I mean, there are a lot of other components that are added into the system as well, because I do have very good cables on the back. I don't have very good speaker cables, mind you. They're just speaker wire, normal speaker wire. I mean, they're inexpensive, and so I don't know what the big fuss with that is, but maybe if I got really good speaker wire, that would make a little bit of an improvement. So yes, so here I am. Here is my audiophile days coming back, and I'm just sharing it with you because it's exciting. You know, people know me as a photographer, but I thought this is something I just want to share. I've done other videos that are kind of off topic from what people know me as, but I've done a review on a fountain pen that I discovered for myself, inexpensive. So that has received thousands of views. You can check it out later if you want to. But I thought this is something I wanted to share because this is actually a passion that I'm sort of getting back into. Because I have a little bit more time and I'm spending more time in the studio and I want better sound, I want better music. And my previous system that I had for the studio area wasn't cutting it, and eventually those speakers died. The LT Lansings died. They were statically, the sound was literally, it was horrible, and it really needed an upgrade. And those speakers I had around for quite a long time. So the current system is what I have. So you might ask, okay, well, what about the sound? What about the sound? People always like to hear about the sound. I'm not an audiophile reviewer. I'm not even a reviewer. I don't even know what I am. I'm an artist, but I like to share my information with things that I'm excited about, regardless of whether it's photography or painting or whatever. And people, I hear so many people say, no, stick to one topic if you're going to do something like this. Stick to one topic. Well, my topic is what I like and what excites me and what I'm passionate about. So that's where I'm going with this. The channel is just called Norm Yip. I had other names that I thought of, and then I thought, no, I'm just going with Norm Yip. That's me. And this is what's been exciting me for the last while. So what did I hear that this DAC brought out in the equipment that I already owned? Well, the first thing I noticed was, oh my gosh, the bass. That was the first thing I thought. The bass was tight. I could tell that the subwoofer before it was muddy, and I knew it was kind of muddy. It was. What does it mean by muddy bass? It means that the bass is just all over the place. It's like a puddle going all over the place, and so it's muddy, or it's not very defined. It's not very tight. So that was the first thing I noticed, that my subwoofer, the sound that was coming out from was clean, and it was rich, and it was deep. It was always deep before, but it wasn't tight. It didn't have a distinction between the areas where what was I listening to at the time? I don't quite remember. I'm trying to remember, was it a Justin Bieber song or was it a Billie Eilish? It was one of those songs. It was one of those songs that was playing, but just the bass was, it was just coming up really clean and nice, and I could tell that it didn't seem like the subwoofer was struggling. And so when it means struggle, it's like it's muddy, it's trying, and it comes out kind of flabby, right? It's flabby. Is that a good way to talk about bass? But it was flabby, and then I noticed the second thing that I noticed too was that the voice was really beautiful that was coming out. I'm trying to remember who I was playing. I have to look at my playlist again, but the voice, I played several different tracks after that. I was just so engaged with the music, and it's really nice to be re-engaged with the music. And then, I remember listening to a track by Phineas, whereby his voice just, I mean, as they say in a lot of audiophile recordings, it became alive. It was like, oh, Phineas is right here. Now, I did notice a little bit where I did notice that the mid-bass or the voice was a little bit reticent. It was a little bit held back, but not exceedingly so. I do have another set of speakers that I'll probably hook up later on. And what is it? It is the Castle Trent 2 speakers. And those speakers are not as efficient, and those will need a stronger amp to drive it. But I think that might be a good pairing. I'll do that later. We'll see what happens. But right now, like I said, the bass is really nice. The mid-range was, the voice came out beautifully, both for male and female voices. I know I have different tracks that concentrate more on the voice, I didn't play any classical music last night. I did play some older tracks. I played some Katie Lang. I played some Katie Lang last night, and oh my goodness, it's just Katie Lang. If you're listening to this, your voice is just simply awesome. And Constant Craving. I was playing Constant Craving, and it's just beautiful. The bass, the guitars, her voice. Yeah, it was just really beautiful to listen to. Excuse me. And then what else did I? Oh, the highs. Well, on the highs, I remember very clearly listening to one of Phineas's tracks and thinking, "Oh, I've never heard that before," or I heard it, but it didn't come out as a detail. And this was really a beautiful detail that came out in the music. And so I realized that, for producers that are putting together the music, they put a lot of heart and energy and soul into making the sounds the way it is supposed to be heard. I guess that's the best way to put it, because when you're in the mixing, when you're mixing music, for those sound engineers, they're making a lot of decisions, and now we're hearing some of those decisions or I'm finally hearing those decisions that were made long ago in the recording room, or if you record something in a chamber hall or in a special space whereby the sound of the room becomes present and not just instruments, right? So I think that's the thing about when you have electronic music. Oh, this is getting into something else. Audiophile geek coming out. I think when you when you record music in a certain room or certain space, the best recordings record that space, record the sound within that space. And I think I remember hearing it from reading it or hearing it from Stephen Guttenberg about how really good systems can bring that character into what you're listening. And I think with the electronic music, it doesn't really do that because it's all electronic. It's all done on a computer. And so you don't get the sense of a room. You just get a sense of a digital signal that's whereby the recording is just pulling in a digitized signal. So you don't get the sense of the space that's within the room. And really good audio systems, you can hear that quality coming through in the speakers. I don't have a system that quite does that. I mean, but this is a really modest system that I have here. I mean, like the S.M.S.L is like a less. Well, for me, it was less than 100 Hong Kong, less than 100 US dollars. I think the Cambridge Audio, you could get a new version of this, an upgraded version for I don't know, a few $100s. Cambridge Audio, I think the equipment, and having only used this version, this amplifier, I think it sounds fantastic for the price. It was very inexpensive. Like I said, it was secondhand. And like if you get new speakers, or if you have older speakers, hook it up and see what happens. But anyway, I'm quite amazed at the quality of audio that is coming out. And how a DAC, $100 DAC can literally transform an old stereo system into something that's just so I don't know how to describe it. It's just so engaging and just makes me feel really warm inside. I mean, I walked around the studio, turned down the lights. It made me want to make my space even better and nicer than it really is. My studio is I use it for photography and for painting, and now the stereo, the music that's coming through is just making it all that much better for me to work in. So I think I've said enough. Thank you for listening. I'm gonna load this up very soon. I'm sorry that it's such a long video, but I hope you enjoy it. And please like, subscribe. I do have a Patreon, and it was actually meant more for my photography and art and nothing for this, but I'm gonna plug it in anyway. So I have many websites, by the way. I have different websites for different things that I do. I'm an artist that doesn't stick to one thing. I travel. I wherever my mind goes, I like to work on. So you know, check in the descriptions below. I have different websites for different things that I do, and I started the video thing because I thought this is something that it's not necessarily to monetize, but really just to share my thoughts, because I'm an old guy, you know. So I share my thoughts on what I like and what I don't like, and you know, I come from the age of analog film. You know, like I was born in the '60s, right? So so I have a little bit of something that I can share with people, and I'm not afraid of the new technology either, as I found out. And thank you, and hope to see you again. So like, subscribe, share it with other friends if you want. If not, doesn't matter. Enjoy. Bye.